and welcome to the Business Spotlight. I have a great show today. We're going to be talking with Dr. Mary Swift. Today, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to her heart because, well, she's a dentist, Dallas Laser Dentistry. She's a cosmetic dentist. In fact, 2011, 2012, Consumer Choice Award winner. But yet, she feels that, well, people are more than just their mouth. Smiles matter, but so does the rest of the body. So today, we're going to talk about a thing called Alter G. So with that, Dr. Mary, it's always great to have you on the show.
Thanks
so much.
Good to see you.
I want to get into this Alter G. What is Alter G?
Yeah, we're not talking teeth today, are we?
We're not talking teeth. We always talk teeth, but because you've been a frequent guest here. But it's you said, I want to do a show on this. And I looked at the material. I'm dumbfounded at the difference in where this show will go. But I also realized the difference that you want to make.
So you looked at the Alter G?
I did.
Online?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's an anti-gravity treadmill. You know, we are total human beings. We aren't just teeth and smiles. I like to look at the entire health of my patients. And this is, well, it won the best new medical device the first year it was out, about 5-6 years ago. So Alter G is an anti-gravity treadmill. And we'll show you a still shot of it, and later on in the show we'll show you the video on it. You literally zip into it and it lifts you so that you can run or walk at a comfortable elevation, taking the pressure off of the joints and running at an altered gravity.
Altered gravity. So when you think about the people that are finding this and beginning to use it, who are some of the best people for that to occur?
Well, let me start with where I found it.
Sure.
Excuse me. I had a business partner who was an elite athlete. She actually qualified for the Olympic trials in the women's marathon. And she ran on an Alter G. So at first I thought it was only for elite athletes. A little more research, I found out it's also for rehabbing injuries. Okay, so if you've had a knee replacement, a hip replacement, stress fractures, and some other applications I'll talk about in a minute. So it's not just the elite athlete that's on this. Okay, so I started running on it. First time I was on it, I was blown away. You know how in your dreams you're like the best runner? You know, you're like the tribal messenger. You're like nothing can stop you. This is how it feels.
Really?
It feels like you've lost 50 pounds or you're 20 years younger and you're running. So in a nutshell, because it's an odd concept, but it's just the most amazing technology. You zip into the treadmill. It makes some calculations. It lifts you using differential pressures. So it's kind of like why an egg doesn't just crumble. Okay, there's pressure inside, pressure outside. So it's differential pressures that lift you at 1% of your body weight at a time to find your comfort zone. And then from there, you gradually drop back onto the earth. So this morning, I ran 3 miles. I ran at 90% of the work. So I only took 10% of my body weight away, but the difference it makes in how well you can run, how comfortably you can run, how long you can run. So I get a good cardio session done running, which is something I never thought I would enjoy. I was not a runner in my youth. It's just something I've picked up to burn calories and to stay in shape.
So I could run farther than the end of the block.
Yes, you would be amazed at how comfortably and far you can run on an Alter G.
And so it sounds like it's for people that, I mean, it's for anybody that wants that kind of workout.
It's for anybody that needs to put one foot in front of the other. Okay, so there's some great YouTube videos out there. One that actually kind of brought a tear to my eye was the one for obesity. Okay, just getting weight issue patients on the AlterG, lifting them up and showing them what it would feel like if they lost 50 pounds. It's
Oh, wow.
mind-opening. And like I said, it just brings a tear to your eye because the hope that shows in their eyes that I could really walk comfortably, gets them motivated to then lose the weight. So the original, the origin of AlterG was through NASA space project. It was the reverse. In outer space,
That's right.
if you don't have gravity, you lose muscle mass. So for extended space trips, not losing muscle mass, they actually did the reverse and pulled the astronauts down onto the Earth or the treadmill so that they could exercise in outer space. Well, flip the switch and you're lifted, and that's AlterG was born. It's a form of physical therapy that has a medical reimbursement code, so people that are rehabbing injuries can actually get a prescription and actually file on insurance on this too.
Great. One of the things that you're going to learn more about AlterG. This is the Business Spotlight. My guest is Dr. Mary Swift. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Business Spotlight. Business Spotlight is a place where business owners tell their stories in the marketplace and abroad. One of the things that we're doing today is we're talking about AlterG, kind of an anti-gravity machine. But what's interesting is Dr. Mary Swift is a dentist with Dallas Laser Dentistry, 2011, 2012 Consumer Choice Award winner. And what's so amazing to me is that she really believes that the mouth is just one of the entries to the body. And the AlterG is a tool to help the rest of the body get in shape by allowing you to begin a workout process that isn't painful.
Absolutely. That's the whole reason AlterG as a rehab medical equipment piece is to take the pain away, get the athlete and or the non-athlete walking, running, training, exercising without pain.
And I sit there and I was listening to you, you talk about running and I think, wow, running a mile or two, but literally being able to test what it would be like. For me, 50 pounds lighter would mean a lot.
Yeah.
That would be ideal body weight for me. So
Yeah.
I'm just like blown away by the impact that would have.
And people always ask me, is it like you're running on the moon? Is there, are you, but you have to experience it to understand, but you're doing the work. You're just not doing all the work, but you're doing the work. So taking away half of your body weight and seeing what it would feel like to run or walk at half your body weight is motivating.
Well, in fact, one of the first thoughts I had when I looked at the material was, on my left toe, I have no cartilage in between foot and big toe. Well, you can imagine what walking or running, how painful that would be. And it would not be fun. But with the AlterG, it sounds like I would be able to to correct. Is that correct?
Well, what you would do is you would start your walk usually at about 50% of your body weight.
Right.
So you're taking half your body weight away and walking, okay? And you're doing the work, you're walking. And if that's comfortable, then you can drop down 1%. And you drop down until you are just right on the edge of that comfort zone, and you rehab from there. There's protocols that have already been tested for all kinds of injuries and already tested, already ready to go. We talked about how this has nothing really to do with dentistry, but just whole body health. what really triggered my interest was bone rehabilitation. Now, in dentistry, we do dental implants.
Right.
We put a titanium post in, and we have to make sure that bone repairs and fuses and grabs hold of that. And the way you do that is by loading it, putting some pressure, but not too much. Some pressure stimulates those osteoblasts, the cells that make bone, and you actually end up, just like when you break a bone, the seam where it broke is stronger, then the repair is stronger, almost like a scar tissue. Same thing with rehabbing like a stress fracture, high ankle sprain, those kind of injuries that need just enough stimulation for good repair, but not for further injury.
Well, one of the things, I want to see the picture again, just so that the audience can get a better kind of glimpse of what this thing looks like. We put up one of the, yeah.
Yeah, it's a treadmill with a big airbag around it, and a computer attached. We've got a little video here of an athlete putting on his shorts. He's going to step in. You'll see in just a second. Steps in, lifts the carriage, you lock it into place. Very good. And then he's going to start it, and it's making some calculations. It puffs up air, it's measuring you, it's weighing you, and after it's made its calculations, then you can titrate your run. You know, like I said, starting at 50% of your body weight and then working yourself down to a comfortable level. I actually, when I first started running on AlterG, was running at 50% of my body weight. I'm now running at 90%. I don't think I'll ever want to get on the ground 100%. Because I can go further, last longer, all that with the
and you don't have to worry about tripping over
injuries.
something.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
You know, running over something.
You can run with your eyes closed. There is
Really?
no other way in the world you could ever run with your eyes closed, and that may sound strange, but if you're working on your gait, if you're working on gait therapy, making sure you're even left to right, it's really fun to close your eyes and run and concentrate on symmetry.
Well, I was even noticing that it's really good for let's call it neurocalisthenics. Basically for people that have had some sort of either brain injury or maybe even on their way into.
Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, well, I'd love to, because I know that when we get down to this thing, it's really about giving people a tool to help them regain what maybe they've lost in the last few years or in the last season. And as we really get into the AlterG, I want to know where we get it, where we can ride one of these things, because it sounds like a lot of fun. And but this is the Business Spotlight, and we're talking about alter gravity. We're talking about getting healthy with Dr. Swift, Dr. Mary Swift of Dallas Laser Dentistry. You'll want to be back for the next few parts of the Business Spotlight. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dewar. My guest today is Dr. Mary Swift. Dr. Mary Swift is the two-time award winner for Consumer Choice for dentistry, cosmetic dentistry in the DFW area. And we're talking about AlterG, which is kind of anti-gravity, or a machine that helps you work out. What do you want to say?
Defy gravity.
Defy gravity. Defy gravity. Yeah. So, but you began to talk a little bit about how even with the ability to run with your eyes closed and how that helps with your balance, but it stimulates your brain, and this is really good for that.
It is. Our brain limits us sometimes. So with AlterG, I'll first take the elite athlete, the one who already runs well. It's been shown that if you get them on the Alter-G, you can do what's called overspeed training. So you can push the treadmill without fear of falling because you're zipped in and you're protected. It's
You're
safe.
not going to get sucked out.
It's a safe
out the back.
It's a safe environment to push the speed and get over that mental block of how fast you can or can't run. So the elite athletes like it to outdo their personal record.
Right.
And there again, once you see that you can run better than your personal record on the Alter-G, it carries over. Parkinson's, stroke victims, anybody that is learning to walk or walk better, again, because you're zipped in, you can't fall, you can't trip, there's a safety, and there's a, you can do more if you know you're safe. And they've taken Parkinson's patients, put them on the Alter-G, and put them right on the floor and had increase in speed. And you want speed even when you're walking. If you walk slow, you teeter, you fall side to side, you injure some pretty major hips, that kind of forward, you might get a wrist or something. So it's important to glide through the earth at a pace that helps you balance. So who uses Alter-G? Elite athletes, just to increase their training and speed, to rehab injuries. The neurologists like it, again, for the Parkinson's, stroke victims, MS victims, and then weight loss, obesity clinics where you can literally put a patient on the Alter-G and show them what it would feel like to walk with half their body mass on, walk comfortably. It's inspirational to show someone what it would feel like to weigh less.
Well, even with, it sounds like even some of us that just need to get started again, okay? Because a lot of times it's that pain barrier of, oh my gosh, I gotta go out, I gotta work out, sweat, whatever. But you're saying, it sounds like it would be so much easier to just get started.
Yes. Oh, if I were running on my own in the mornings, I probably wouldn't get 50 paces because it's those first few, one foot in front of the other that But boy, I tell you what, long about mile 2, it's all worked out and it's nothing but fun.
It's awesome. Where do you connect to one of these things? How do you get on one?
Well, that's been an obstacle, and that's one of the reasons why I was so passionate about getting the word out for Alter-G is because typically they're in rehab facilities, so you would have to be a patient of a doctor who happened to know and have an Alter-G in their facility, so you're limited to being one of their patients and under their hours of operation. I think it's such an innovative and applies to so many people piece of equipment that I want it in a gym where somebody can just come to the gym and use it as their cardio. So right now you can find on the Alter-G website, it'll direct you to the nearest.
Now we've got one here. It's Alter-G at Dallas, or Alter-G
Sweat.
Dallas.com, and then it's Lift and Sweat.
Sweat is the name of the gym here in Dallas, and there are 2 Alter-Gs available to the public at that location.
So Lift at Sweat, and there's the information on the screen right now. So they can just go there, and is it something that they rent?
Yes, and there's packages to purchase, but the first one's on me.
Oh, excellent!
Please get on and try it. It's such an unusual concept that you really have to get on it and try it. But everyone that gets on it and tries it is blown away. It's liberating. It's invigorating. It's the best cardio. I joke and I say, if you see somebody sitting on the bike or on the elliptical, it's because they can't run.
Ah, well, that's where I would have been. Yeah. Now I know where I can go at least get started.
And run, or walk, or walk.
I can remember running when I was in high school, but that, whole different scenario back then. One of the things that we want to get into as we go into this next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to connect to you guys to lift at Sweat, and really get more information. I know alterg-dallas.com is a resource for you guys. A lot of information available. You'll want to try this particular machine out. This is the Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dewar, and today we're really giving you a little different tool to help you get where, well, you want to go, which most of us want to be a little fitter. So with that, we'll be right back with the Business Spotlight. And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dewar. My guest today, Dr. Mary Swift of Dallas Laser Dentistry. And we're talking about AlterG, which is kind of a anti-gravity machine that helps you work out and in a new way. Is that about right?
That's about right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One of the things, though, that we hear a lot about is people that used to be athletes. Mm-hmm. They're a little backslidden for whatever reason. And a lot of times it's maybe like what mine is, it's just an injury, a bone something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, have you seen anybody that's been on there and they just, whatever, you know, they're in that situation?
That's probably our biggest client, are the folks that used to run but cannot anymore. They get it. You know, if you used to be able to do something, and then because of age, time, injury, circumstances, all of a sudden you can't do that anymore, something's been taken away from you.
Right.
And this gives it back. We've got a niche of runners and running clubs where they pass the word back to each other about being able to rehab their minor injuries on the AlterG, Achilles heel rehab, stress fracture rehabs. The athletes, the runners that or marathon runners, there's another one that want to do their long run but don't want to pound their body for that long run, get on the AlterG and do their long run, lift it a little bit so that then when they are actually in the marathon, they know they've run the distance and they can do it in what it feels like without the injury because they've practiced on the
Absolutely. It's a safer place. They're comfortable. They're able to go farther, faster, and like you say, it's kind of a mind trick.
It is.
And what's really amazing is that little mind trick is something that most people that have ever tried anything from like speed reading to accelerated learning or whatever, they always do the same thing. It's the exact same thing. You set up a system that you can't fail, but you can exceed what you've done before.
Yes.
And then it pops.
It pops.
That's great.
It's
I guess you're probably even looking for additional clubs just to let them aware of what's going on.
And the elite athletes and the runners know more about AlterG than just the general public, mostly because they are the ones that are seeking out a way to keep running. But, you know, it's not just about elite athlete. It's about anyone that needs to put one foot comfortably in front of the other and exercise, walk, power walk, start to jog, start to run, whatever comfort level you're at, just so you're moving. Get moving. And this is a good way to get moving comfortably.
What about soldiers? I know a lot of soldiers that are coming back and they've got some form of injury. Sometimes it's because they've worn 50-pound packs, body armor, you know, overseas in 100 million degrees in weather, and their backs actually get out of whack from sitting in these chairs funny and
Yeah.
it would help them, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because things begin to line up.
And you don't have to have an injury to enjoy an AlterG. You know, personally, I I find that I just burn more calories, stay in better shape, and have a better cardio experience, cardio workout, running. So, you know, yes, it was developed for rehabbing. It was also put into most of the major sports franchises. The Cowboys have one. The Mavericks have one. So the Alter G, you know, knows its value, but getting the word out there, it's been a little bit limited to rehab facilities and high-end sports franchises. Everyone should be able to do it, not just the high-end sports franchises and
Right,
people
not
rehabbing
just the
injuries.
rich.
Not
It
that
shouldn't be.
Although that's the biggest selling growth sector for Alter G is personal use. People are buying them and putting them in their homes.
Buying them.
I know. You'd have to have room for it. But.
That and room in your pocketbook.
Yes,
to
yes,
write the
yeah,
check.
yeah, truly.
So what do you want people to do? You've told them about it. What do you want people to do?
I'd love for them to look at it online. I'd love for them to Google it and research it just to see how amazing it is.
Well, and they've got that on the screen. They got that alterg-dallas.com. I know that will have an enormous amount of resources for you.
I hope so, and I would love for anyone that wants to try it to contact us, Lift at Sweat, and come try your first run on me for free. You've got to experience it. It's like nothing else you've ever done before.
Do they just use your name as it, you know, kind of pull the Mary card? Or
That should do it.
Mary sent me.
You betcha.
And then they'll get the...
Oh, we'll get you on it.
How long do they get for their first try?
Well, you don't want to overdo it. That's the potential risk, is that you get on and it feels so good, it's easy to overdo it. So, you know, 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most, just to get an idea of how it feels.
8 to 11 would probably be enough for me. But I'm like,
wait,
there'll
you'll
be so
see.
much
When you
further
get
than the
on,
end of the
it
block.
feels like you could run forever. It's an amazing feeling.
Well, show the picture real quick of what the Alter G looks like, and that they can get it at Lift at Sweat.
At Sweat. Sweat is the name of the gym. Lift is the name of our company that puts the Alter Gs in the gym. So you can either Google Sweat, you know, or Alter G. Both will get you to our location we have 2 Alter Gs. Pick up the phone, tell
Give us a
whoever
call.
answers you want to try it, and we will make it happen.
Awesome. So just throw the Mary card, go to the Lift at Sweat. This is the Business Spotlight, where business owners tell their story. It's been a unique day today with Dr. Mary giving a little alternate option for you to get what you want. We'll be back next time on the Business Spotlight.